Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to of the phenomenon known to mankind as Saturday afternoon's main event. It is August 19th, 2023, 12:06 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back. Yes, after 1 week on a hiatus, we're back. And of course, it is yours truly. If you do not know who I am, I suggest you go to school, go into your library, find the biggest dictionary you can find, preferably Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the phenomenal one. And of course, here on Saturday afternoon's main event, I'm not joined alone because I'm with my co-host. He is the megastar whose name is L. Hey, listen, guys, I'm gonna digress. That doesn't count. He can actually go ahead and fill that one in. But look, guys, you already know who my co-host is. I don't have to get into it, but you know what? Out of the reverence and respect that I have for this individual, let's go ahead and give him the intro that he most definitely deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, long behold, the limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, who's not having a hard time holding this alligators down. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, give me 2 claps and a peep stage.
Woo! Yes.
There we go.
Had to get the vocal cords ready. I got the
D-Boy's
water.
on the cut.
Yes, I am here once again. It's been 2 weeks. Oh, it seems like a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. So I guess we have just a couple of little things that happened that maybe nobody knows about. We can probably get it today for Saturday afternoon's main event.
Yeah, peeps. We're the internet wrestling community. I think they do know what happened. They're just waiting on our take for it. So praise God that you are. Thank you for you guys that are listening and tuning in. We gracefully thank you guys. We know that if you're tuning in from Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube, look, you're in for a treat today. There's a lot to cover. Let's not go ahead and waste any time. So, peeps, shall we go ahead and get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's only right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you know that when you hear this theme right here, it means one thing and one thing only. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Wrestling Crash Course.
Yes.
Peeps, let's fire it up, right?
Yes.
Okay, so with the theme being the theme, and it seems like it's only 90s fitting, let's go ahead and give something that is also 90s fitting. Ladies and gentlemen, 90,000 early Hulkamaniacs run wild first day of ticket sales.
Yes.
When I read this to peeps earlier, peeps sat there and kind of laughed. Listen, it's only right. Guys,
yes.
Can you imagine in the year 2023, okay? Because Peeps, I think Peeps knows where I'm going with this. Because Peeps was around for Mania 20. He was at Mania 20. When I have talked to Peeps before, and I was like, Peeps, how hard was it to get tickets? Peeps sat there and Peeps said, look, honestly, the tickets sold out within 10 minutes. That's how high demand WrestleMania 20 was. Of course, things have changed. Of course, technology has advanced. And of course, inflation has been a real SOB. But, ladies and gentlemen, on the first day of general tickets going on sale for WrestleMania 40 next year in Philadelphia, in only 1 day, not even fully 1 day, in less than 24 hours, they had sold 90,000 plus tickets. Take that, AEW! Talking about, you know what? Look. I'm gonna go ahead and sit back and relax on that one. Because here's the thing. Here's what I have to say. There have been rumblings, and there have been a bunch of slander going around for the past couple of months, where you had the Dave Meltzer marks, the AEW marks, the Tony Khan Angel Dust Sniffers, and anything in between that were sitting there and saying WWE can't pull off what AEW's doing. They have to buff attendance records. They have to sit and say, oh, they sold this amount of tickets when such and such was actually less. But look at that. AEW can go ahead and sell out 80,000 plus at Wembley. Guys, Wembley hasn't seen a wrestling event in almost more than 30 years. I think you are going to be able to sell out Wembley if it's wrestling and you know it's the UK. And look, if we're just being for real here, all it took was John Cena having to go into a 12 to 13,000 plus arena known as the O2 in London and ask the fans if they wanted WrestleMania in London. And I think we know what the reaction was.
Yes.
But look, the fact that WrestleMania is not even taking place in London, the fact that it's taking place to one of the better wrestling cities that is filled with history dating back to Eastern Championship Wrestling, later known to many as ECW. If we're being for real, selling out 90,000 for only combined nights in one day? Guys, no more comparisons. No more overshadowing the WWE. None of that. Because they just broke an all-time record gate. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to, peeps. Look, I don't know if I'm speaking too much, but look, you give your reasoning behind it. Because I think I'm set in stone on mine. What is your thoughts?
I think, part of it, I'll go locally and then I'll go internationally.
All right.
Internationally, I think WrestleMania is going to sell irregardless. You got people from Ireland, England, Germany, wherever they can get their hands on tickets, hotel suites, they can get out there, do the Hall of Fame the night before, do WrestleMania, do the SmackDown, then maybe do the Raw after WrestleMania, the entire weekend. Great for the economy of wherever WrestleMania is booked. But also, I'll do it locally. The local aspect of it is a lot of people, including my own humble brain itself, is thinking that Paul Heyman is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame that weekend. And I'm of the mindset that when we get toward WrestleMania weekend and they start announcing who's going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame, they are in Philadelphia at the link where they're going to get a huge amount of people, a huge influx of fans that 20, 25 years ago grew up on ECW. And I think those three letters are going to dictate a lot of those sales. When you got 90,000 tickets in just under a day. And I actually looked at a couple of the ticket prices and all of that stuff.
Inflation is something else.
It's too rich for my blood.
Inflation is something else.
Oh, yeah.
Christ.
Nosebleed seats are over $300.
Yup.
So if you're looking at nosebleed upper deck way back in the area where you can maybe get a chance to peek at maybe the Jumbotron, you're looking at 300 easy.
And of course, we know that they're overhead beams that are going to be standing around. I've looked at tickets where the beams are literally blocking the ring. And you're sitting there and you're telling me 600? You know what?
Yeah. They're going to put seats on the catwalk. I would not be surprised if they had people up the catwalk waiting there. Or they might just end up creating their own seating section on the Jumbotron. Just let everybody sit there. At least you'll give a new meaning to keeping your seat warm, if you catch my drift.
You know what, Peeps? This time around, I just think they're going to be the type to bring back those little mini radios that you can use with a little earbud.
Yes.
And listen to commentary instead, because you won't be able to sit there and really see much. Yes, Peeps. I mean, for God's sake.
And it's going to be important for communication, because I'm guaranteeing if you didn't get the tickets now and you get the tickets later, if they're all available by the time you do, somebody's going to be sitting in section B, somebody's going to be sitting in section H, 15,000 seats away from somebody. Hey, Ma, how you doing? It's time to let me text Grandpa and let him know
in your eyes, this is going to be WrestleMania 20 all over again, where you all scattered around your friends.
Exactly. Because when I went to WrestleMania at the Garden, I went with a bunch of friends, and I had friends were all over the place. One was near ringside, another one was further up. we were further back across from the stage. So yeah, you're gonna have a sprinkling of people around the building, and this is for 2 days. I joked about this before last year. I'm telling you right now, at some point, WrestleMania is going to be an all-week deal. They're getting there already.
For God's sakes, peeps, can you imagine WrestleMania taking place for 5 days?
Oh,
don't give them
it'll be WrestleMania week, not weekend.
Not
WrestleMania week.
Oh gosh, can you only imagine WrestleMania on a Friday?
Yes. Think about this. The gate that they pulled for the ticket sales for these 90,000 is insane.
Crazy.
Last year was the all-time record that they broke as far as ticket sales at the gate.
And I thought I set a record. Peeps. You know the only thing that's actually setting records in my mind? The stock that I implemented into the WWE via Cash App. I used up $100 worth of Bitcoin, invested it into WWE. Peeps, and I'm sitting right now at a good what? It's at 150. Look, an extra $50. I don't mind it. Hey, listen, Vince is making my pockets. I'm happy. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm cool with it.
Yeah. You're sitting good. Put it like this: you can afford WWE 2K next year.
Although the game sucks, peeps. You know what? I'd rather buy Fight Forever, and I know that's gosh. The thought of just even saying that. Okay, forget that. But, ladies and gentlemen, yes, what a incomparable feat for the first day. Look, if you guys are looking forward to WrestleMania in about 8 months, look, we're all for it. We're ready as well. We're willing. Let's see how it goes. And the fact that they did it without a card.
Exactly. Both companies did. And it's funny, I texted you yesterday when all of this broke out, and I said, Tony Khan is saying, look, 80,500 tickets sold. Hooray. Look at us. And then beer. Triple H just said, hold my beer. Put it down and just walked off set. That's what it is. The good thing is, regardless of what side you're on, if you're a wrestling fan,
we're winning.
Happy.
We're winning.
Because this is a true renaissance. This is a renaissance that we haven't been privy to in a very long time. Coming off the pandemic, looking for entertainment, and the entertainment of choice is pro wrestling. Wrestling is good, especially when it comes to ticket sales and merchandising and in-ring talent. Yes.
Definitely. But look, as wrestling fans, guys, we're winning. All I'm saying, end the debates, end the camaraderie, all of that, just end it, okay? Because as fans, we're happy, we're good, we're set. From there is something I want to get off my chest. Peeps, you know what really grinds my gears?
No, tell me, Peter Griffin.
What grinds my gears is that we're in the year 2023, and somehow wrestling sometimes likes to invite pop culture in, while that's not the type of pop culture that we definitely need. Like, let's just be for real, peeps. Rock and wrestling, great. Perfect for the business.
Yes.
Involving hip-hop with wrestling, once again, great for business. We've seen the Migos at day one. We've seen Ric Flair in a video for Ric Flair Drip. We've seen Method Man do a song on a WWE-themed album for The Rock. Run DMC remix DX's theme song.
And you can't forget Ice-T and The Godfather.
Exactly. So you
at
see what
WrestleMania 2000.
Exactly. Peeps, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, what I don't like is that when they try to implement movies into it. Now look. Guys. I was one of the people that completely scattered on the WrestleMania Backlash Zombie Lumberjack match that was taking place in the Thunderdome a good while ago.
I tried my best to forget that. I've tried my best to forget that abomination of an idea, but they were looking for content. So it can be excused. It was pandemic wrestling, a lot of things.
Exactly.
We'll forgive them for that to some degree.
But now fast forward to 2023, and you think WWE is over with it, which is great. But now in AEW, they think they can do the same. Now look. Who in the hell brings Leatherface to AEW to go ahead and get Karen Jarrett out of ringside? I just want to know. Babes, you see, you're trying your hardest not to laugh. I'm trying my hardest not to lose my ish.
Yes.
Babes, are you kidding me? Leatherface. Guys.
And when you think of when as you listen to this story, when you figure out the reason behind the promotion of this, you'll then scratch your head even further. But go right on ahead.
So peeps. Here's the thing, okay? Ice Cube's son, okay? An avid real wrestling fan, okay? This is like real talk. I've seen him at Mania in LA. I've seen him, like counterculturally around AEW. He's been sitting with Westside Gunn, who is another avid wrestling fan / rapper. He went ahead and took to Twitter just this past week, right? And when I tell you, I sat there and I said to myself, look, he's not wrong. He wasn't wrong. Because, peeps, this is what he said, okay? And I'm not going to use the actual word because, this is a family channel. He said Negro, okay? And I quote, Negro, I just saw Leatherface come out and chase a woman into the back during a match, and y'all got on WWE for the Zombie Lumberjack match. You gotta be scatting me.
Yes.
Peeps. Peeps. Yeah, Hot Rod. Best match ever. Not. Thank you.
Good one.
So
Good one.
Look, as far as the match goes, I hated it. Wanted no part of it. I want it to be erased from my head completely. And even adding a title to it. How many of these gimmick titles do we need?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Those were the quote unquote, pun intended, cons. But here's the pro to it. They got $100,000 out of a promotional deal to go ahead and at least promote it as a match on their show. Khan then went ahead and used that money to donate it to the Maui Relief Fund for those that are affected out in Hawaii.
Exactly.
He gets, listen, for that, all my respect. I love that. But damn it, was there any other way to go ahead and was there any other way to use this, peeps?
It would have been better off getting the participants of the match to do a speech and then say, we stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Maui for the wildfires that are happening. Here's a donation from AEW, especially since the show's theme was Fight for the Fallen, which usually benefits, they usually do charity and they bring money towards the military families, that kind of thing. It's a charitable event that they've been doing now since AEW's inception. They also do something similar like that with Fyter Fest. So yes, it's understandable. The charitable aspect of it and then philanthropic feeling that AEW normally passes along with these kinds of events is good. But even with that being said, if there was not a single ounce of charity involved, the reasoning behind this match was to promote a video game. A video game based on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's literally what this was. And from the beginning of the match, the concept of it, to Karen Jarrett and Jeff Jarrett being doused in fake blood, it gave me a lot of the old, that new blood WCW vibes. Where Kevin Nash apparently had an angel on his shoulder because every time they tried to dump blood on him, it missed them just by this much. Yeah.
What had me is every single time he would just peep down and just look at the blood like, really, y'all miss me again? I'll take it.
If the expression bruh was out back then, that would be the meme for it.
Damian Priest's face after Finn Balor lost the match at SummerSlam.
It'd
That
be
was
like,
my face. I was just like, "Are you kidding me, bruh?"
yeah,
Like,
bruh, exactly.
like, come on. That's what it
And
was.
they had the temerity to actually do it again. That's the crazy part. They did that Kevin Nash blood spot like 3 times and missed him in back-to-back chances.
Vincent Kennedy Russo for you.
Oh, there you go. The inventor of professional wrestling.
The inventor.
There you go.
There we go. But speaking on the inventor of professional wrestling and Vince Russo in the same sentence, let's move on from this and go to this piece of news. Tammy Lynn Sitch pleads no contest and faces 25 years in prison. Guys, look, I'm not one to degrade a person. I'm not one to lose it when it comes to what they do in their lives and with their decision making. I'm not one to, just completely just scat on a person. That's not what I'm here for. Okay. But on the contrary, it just sucks because I was one who watched the Hall of Fame that she was in last decade and how revered she was to a lot of the women in the women's division for being what WWE needed around the Attitude Era time in a valet. She was all that and more. Then came the Trish Stratus's and the Litas and the ones that would post for Playboy and, different types of things like that where they got more out of the women and that literally skyrocketed them to bigger heights. Of course, we understand that.
Yes.
But it's just weird. Because I'm now in the aspect of looking at that Hall of Fame and thinking of it as a canon event. Because it's like, how did you go from that to this? Facing that, peeps, that's a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
In prison.
Yeah.
How did we get this? How did we get here, peeps? How? Just how?
What happens is when you are starved for the attention of stardom, you've had a taste of stardom, you lose that stardom, then you gain it back, but then the other parts of the personality, the other parts of your lifestyle, the other parts that make you a complete whole, complete human, has parts that are either damaged, missing, etc. You have results like this. Unfortunately, and like I said, because we're on Twitch and we're on YouTube, there's certain phrases that you can't necessarily say, but I say by getting around it, that because of her actions, a man lost their life. And in that sense, there has to be some sort of accountability. Tammy has had seemingly played through the media tons and tons of chances to clean up not only her act, herself, her life. There were many times where people thought she probably shouldn't have gotten as many opportunities as she's had. But each opportunity that she's had, she could have done something different. Maybe it's something that's completely out of her control, maybe chemically, in the mind, in the brain, substance abuse, whatever demons that people go through. One of those things that if anybody looked at the Dark Side of the Ring, the Chris Candido, and it was sad that even though it was about Candido, and I'm glad that they did more of an attention towards Candido, you also got a chance to see the other side of success, where Tammy Lynn had her issues that kind of blossomed and became her calling card. Now, obviously, we don't know her personally. I've never met her, but I do know from being a fan from afar that not only was she popular and she was as hot as any meteor out in space, she also crashed down as fast. But as I said before, she's had chances to get out of that state and to get into a situation where she can do better and do something else and whatever it is, maybe lack of support, lack of accountability, just plain I don't care, whatever the situation is. Now we're at that point of the sad part of the story where it seems like she's going to be going to jail for quite a long time. And if that is the case, the accountability has finally caught up to her. Unfortunately, that's how these things work.
Well, peeps, there's not much I can possibly go ahead and say more than that. Then if whatever goes down, we just hope that, people look into a story like this and hope that it doesn't repeat itself in the sense of what you said. Having the taste of stardom, wanting to go ahead and get more attention to yourself in the ways that are deemed not good as much, or just guys, don't build an ego. That's all I have to possibly say.
Let this be a teachable moment and something that can be the ultimate cautionary tale, because the wrestling business is littered with bodies and bodies of great people that have gone astray because of personal demons, things of that nature. And this is unfortunately another one of those speed bumps on that road. And hopefully we don't hear any more of these kinds of stories. But I'm pretty sure she's definitely not the first time. I think she's going to be the last.
Definitely right on that piece. Hot Rod, what a way to lighten it. We appreciate you on this one, but damn it, bro. Would love to have a drink with her and have some sunny days in the... Hopefully your sun doesn't quote unquote set. Let's just put it that way. But okay, Hot Rod, your mind takes on a life of its own. We can't really just sip your tea, peeps. Yeah, Anywho,
yes,
that marks the end of Wrestling Crash Course, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Of course, if you ever want to go ahead and keep up with most of the stuff that we put out, y'all, know that there's only one way to do it. Follow us on Instagram at Saturday_main event. Or on Twitter at Saturday Main. Right now, we're up by 20 plus followers in the last week. We've gained traction off of our reels. If you want to go ahead and see some of our most latest reels, of course, which I've actually showed Peeps. Peeps sits there. Yes. Look, Peeps vetoes it all. I send it to Peeps first, and Peeps literally looks at it, and Peeps just like, you know what? That's good for the calling card. And what it does, it gains attention. We're literally at 20,000 people viewing our page in the past week, guys. Continue to go ahead and keep it up. Exactly. Hats off to you guys. Give yourself a pat on the back, because that's 15 inches away from the kick in the rear.
Exactly.
But, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move into the first topic of today's show. Peeps, what a week it's been, right?
Yes. I don't think anything has really happened this week, has it?
Peeps, you sure?
It's been really, it all has been quiet on the Western Front. I haven't heard any news.
You have?
Or have I?
Peeps,
no, not really.
Peeps, are you sure, man?
Inform me. Maybe I might have missed something this week.
You think. Okay, so peeps. Here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, here's exactly what I'm gonna go ahead and do. What I'm going to do is that I'm gonna show you a picture. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. And then I'll let you be the judge of what you think happened and what you think didn't happen. But then, without further ado, let's just go ahead and just show it.
Ooh, that's kind of rough.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
How am I supposed to say this? Okay, guys, I woke up right on a Friday morning, prancing around the area inside my house, having myself a little bit of breakfast, taking the dog for a walk through my predominantly Caucasian neighborhood, took a nap back at the house, Woke back up again to get to work. As I'm on my way to work, I get a notification from Twitter. I look into Twitter, and all I see, for God's sakes, is Cash Wheeler, Cash Wheeler, Cash Wheeler, Cash Wheeler. Funny thing is, Cash Wheeler was trending #1 on Twitter. The second thing trending to Cash Wheeler was Arn Anderson. I didn't see anything. All I said was when I looked at the trending and I saw Cash Wheeler trending, and at the bottom I said Arn Anderson. I said, "Oh, those two don't mix. What could it have been? I need to know now."
Did he attack him somewhere? That's the first thing that will pop in your head?
Peeps. For God's sakes. Peeps is that. Okay. Here's the thing. Okay?
Yeah.
Because what I did, okay, as a real wrestling fan, right, in this century who loves doing these types of things, what I did, after I read the news, I went back on Instagram, texted Peeps for a quick second, went back on Instagram, and I didn't show this to Peeps yet. Peeps doesn't even know about this. And I created a new reel for you guys. Here's what it was. Okay? And I'll just play for you guys. You know what? Peeps, look. Had to take out the humorous aspect of it and had to game trash on the end too. So look, I had to. I had no other choice. Please forgive me, Peeps. Okay.
I understand.
But you see, dark humor. I know you enjoyed that one. I saw you chuckling, so I know I succeeded. See, that's great.
I won't even give that a come on down. Because usually when that happens, it's like, you're the next contestant to burn in hell. I won't even give you that one. So on that sense, I got the gist. It kind of, but at the same time, as humorous as that was, what the hell was? What?
That's what got me. Because when I read the report, guys, here's what the report was. Because now you're sitting there, you're wondering, okay, the phenomenal one just mentioned Cash Wheeler, so does Mudshot. Mentioned Arn Anderson. Then on top of that, mentioned John Cena's entrance at WrestleMania 22 as if he was in the Chicago mob. Funny thing is, CM Punk was a part of that mob too, and he's friends with Cash Wheeler. But you know what? I digress.
Yeah, there you go. They #2 already.
Okay, but on a serious note, guys. On a serious note, we heard that Daniel Wheeler, of course, known to many as Cash Wheeler, was charged with 1 count of aggravated assault with a firearm, in Orlando, just yesterday. Went in front of a judge. We heard what had happened. We heard about the arrangement in front of the judge, and it wasn't a domestic issue. He didn't know the people involved. The judge looked at his track record, clear, clean. Didn't have any past criminal history. But the judge set his bail at $2,500. So presumably right now, he's out of jail. And from what it is, even the attorney who is representing Mr. Wheeler said that he's an American citizen. He lives in the town, has no criminal history, clean slate. This was one of those instances where it was a part of road rage. And from what we know, we thought it was Arn Anderson style where he pointed the gun to the person's head. But from what we know, it's that he just flashed a gun. So, okay. Now we know that, right? People are now saying, okay, so what does this mean? Then you have the other amount of fans that are sitting there like, so does that mean we don't get FTR versus the Young Bucks at All In at Wembley? What am I paying $50 on Bleacher Report for? Guys, it's besides. I don't care about the match anymore. Like, I truly do not care about the match. That is beyond my comprehension right now. My comprehension now is how. Like, first and foremost, understandably, I live in Florida. Yes, I live in the Sunshine State. I know how the laws are. Now that we know that our governor, who God graciously should get a Stone Cold Stunner to the head, put out a law just a couple of months ago. And now that law is in full effect. And the law is an open carry law, where it doesn't seem like you need a license to carry in the state of Florida. That's the law, peeps. That's the law. So currently right now, when I turn 21 next year, I can walk into a gun shop, purchase a gun without a license, have it have open carry. You know, yeah, why not? You know, for God's sakes. But peeps, here's my question to you. Okay, I'm just asking. Okay, just out of curiosity here. Let's say the phenomenal one was a professional wrestler. Clean slate, no criminal history. And I go ahead, get into a road rage incident with a person. And let's just say, okay, let's just say this person is literally handing it to me. Like, I'm talking uppercut after uppercut, punch after punch. I'm bleeding out of my jaw. And all I do, I don't even grab it. I just show the gun. Peeps. In some sense, do I get the same type of, I would say, camaraderie Mr. Wheeler gets? Or is it more?
Chances are no. And I'm just being as frank as humanly possible.
Like the guards at the garden, peeps.
Yes, yes.
I'm not gonna
yes.
say words. People that get me get where I'm coming from.
Yes.
But here's what I'm saying. So right now, AEW hasn't announced changes to the event.
Okay.
They haven't said anything about it. And on top of that, by the judge, Wheeler wasn't asked to surrender his passport. And he got released from jail. Just letting you know. But none asking to, no house arrest, nothing like that. Just continues on, So, peeps, what kind of look? As much as I know he was protecting himself, and good God, thank God, nobody was hurt. Yes. Nobody was injured. Nothing tragic happened.
Yes.
So, peeps, with this being said, what is the type of outlook that we're having currently with professional wrestling, and not only just professional wrestling, just everything as a whole? Like currently with this story right here. What are your thoughts?
This sounds like something straight out of the late 90s or the early 2000s, where you would hear of wrestlers, maybe they came from the bar, maybe they were just upset over something, got pulled over, something happened. I remember years ago, a storyline that happened in WWE after Ric Flair, if you remember, was pulled over, I believe had a DUI, or he got into a fight with somebody and he got arrested. And I remember Edge on WWE television actually making fun of it as a storyline on camera. So we have had instances and have read instances of wrestlers that have gone into certain situations that they probably should not have been in and have been treated much differently. Yes. And they have been treated much differently than the average person. But knowing how society is, if you're a celebrity, there's a good possibility you're going to not get as harshly treated as, say, you or I or the regular everyday Joe. I think if you're looking at it in this sense, the PR nightmare that this is with AEW, I'm going to look at it just from a business sense. We know the common sense part of it, the human sense, the legal sense. That's one thing. I'm looking at the PR side of it. This could not come at a worse time for AEW in the sense that you are now 8 days, 7-8 days away from the biggest card in the history of this young, almost 4-year-old company in AEW, doing an international pay-per-view. 80,000 plus are going to be there. And 2 of your executive vice presidents are going to be in the match. The other opponents are going to be the freaking World Tag Team Champions, who are supposed to be defending the championships, as going to be a high-profile match. And one of those tag team champions, who's supposed to represent the company on a personal level from the PR standpoint, from the business standpoint, anybody that's walking around with championship belts is going to carry the company. They're almost like the suit and ties of the professionals of the athletes. Yep. You can have guys that are lower in the card that don't have championships, but the ones that have championship gold, that have championship pedigrees, that are either champions wrestling for a championship or have held on to championships, are going to be held as standard bearers for a company. And then you have that happen this close with all of the turmoil that we're going to talk about later on in the show that's going on backstage with AEW. And to have this from a team that has zero drama behind them, other than one got injured, another person got injured. Other than that, no drama. Nothing nefarious, nothing negative. And then this happens. We can always say that we're all human. People go through things. You can kind of overlook that and make sure that the justice system takes care of all of this. But this is an awful look for AEW going forward. And if this doesn't get cleared up in the way that it can, you have to let the judicial system work its way through. We have had wrestlers that have lost travel privileges because of these kinds of things. You know, Jeff Hardy notoriously has had issues with substance abuse and has had problems traveling into certain areas because of that. As you've spoken about also with Jimmy and Jey Uso and the problems that they've both had over the years. Lots of other wrestlers have gone through these kinds of negative issues where they can't travel anywhere because of a legal issue in one country that keeps them away from going to another country or keeps them from getting a passport. But even more so, as I said before, the last thing you want to have is this affect your bottom line. And the bottom line aspect of it is the Tony Khan part. How is Tony going to fix this aspect of it in reference to the pay-per-view? Is he going to yank the team from the match? Is he going to change the match? We don't know yet. But it seems to me all intents and purposes are going to keep this match on the card so that they can give the fans what they've paid for. But going forward, this is something that has to get looked at and taken care of, because now you've got those fans that are going out, I can't believe this happened. I can't believe it. How is this? What's going to happen? Nobody got hurt. The incident happened, from what I've read, happened in July, and it's just now the arrest and arraignment part happened over the last couple of days.
Yes.
Let the legal system take care of this, and then let Tony Khan handle the rest of the stuff in-house. And if it so should be that there is no wrestling right now for Cash or for the whole team as a whole, we'll ease back and let it go. But right now, let's let this get taken care of and move on from there.
Now, Peeps, you made a claim and you mentioned a name. That name was Tony Khan.
Yes.
And talking about Tony Khan and handling a lot of things, this is what kind of ties into the next type of topic, which is AEW as a whole.
Okay.
Peeps, we've sometimes talked about how Tony's kind of letting the prisoners run crazy inside the asylum. He's letting, the prisoners run free, do their own type of thing. He's not adding any order. That's what we've kind of gotten, right? Now, when it doesn't pertain to FTR, Let's go ahead and switch to the other person in the room, the other elephant, the 400-pound
Okay.
gorilla. CM Punk. Now, these are one of those instances where, guys, you know how much I love CM Punk. I've talked about
Yes.
CM Punk from the dawn of time. That
Yes.
is
Good
a
old
given.
Charles Montgomery Punk.
Exactly.
Yes.
Chick Magnet Punk. Listen, for
Yes.
what it is, Pepsi Plunge Mr. Phil Brooks. Yes. For God's sakes. Now I'm just sick and tired of it. At this point, I'm tired. I'm done. Just last week, there was a report going on about how Punk had Ryan Nemeth be removed from the locker room, sent back home, and I believe he wasn't on AEW television right after, Peeps, at all,
I don't think so. Yeah, you're right.
because of a comment that was indirectly taken from Ryan, which is what we've heard. And yes, guys, I said Ryan Nemeth, so yes, Dolph Ziggler's brother. God's sakes. But the thing is, Tony didn't care to listen to any sides. He didn't, look at the situation. And from what we've seen, peeps, we're being for real. Dating back to maybe around his feud with Eddie Kingston, we can say that Punk kind of wasn't liked in the locker room, right?
He can be acerbic at times. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, okay. But here's what's so ironic.
Okay.
This took place on a Thursday. The Wednesday before, I seen Punk, or was it the Saturday? Depends. I think it was a Saturday. I seen Punk wear a SAG AFTRA t-shirt to the ring.
Yes.
And when the thing with Nemeth happened, I said, you know what? That doesn't sound too SAG AFTRA. If we're being for real. Here's the thing. When it comes to Punk, peeps, do we think Tony just doesn't care what happens? As long as Punk is happy, he's fine with whatever goes on? Because that's what it's starting to look like. It doesn't seem, with what it is, Tony allows things to happen so much. And I'm starting to look at it from the perspective that there isn't any structure in All Elite Wrestling. I thought there was. For a split second, I had hope. But that has now diminished. It is no longer hope. Because to me, it's just the same old, it's the same old schnick. It doesn't change. And it's never ending. Peeps, what are your thoughts on it?
Hope and wishes are one and the same when it comes to pro wrestling. If you, I'll paraphrase an expression that my uncle used to tell me when I was a kid. If you wish in one hand and you take a dump in the other hand, only one hand is going to get filled. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, the wish or the hope is that after the brawl out situation from last year, it's hard to believe it's been almost a full year since that happened. Time goes really fast. When you think about it, with all of that said, we thought that the lessons learned from that entire fiasco, CM Punk winning the AEW World Championship, and then all of the stuff that happened, and then the locker room stuff, and then seemingly Tony Khan having the investigation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't want to dredge up the old stuff, but it's pertinent based on this explanation. You would have thought then after CM Punk came back and then he got hurt winning the AEW championship again, it's like, okay, Punk, we talked ad nauseum that we were of the mindset that Punk was on his way out. Like, well, his contract is still in play. Maybe they're thinking about a buyout. Maybe we don't know if he's going to be there. Who knows? We don't know what was going to happen. But we thought of it in the sense that there was going to be some sort of progress made and the company win, lose, or draw, was going to move on from the CM Punk experiment. Punk showed he still had value because his name sold tickets for AEW, still does. Brings attention, clicks, likes to AEW's YouTube page, to their various social media handles on Twitter, etc. So there's value there with the CM Punk name, the CM Punk brand. We also know that Tony Khan is a huge wrestling fan, and he seems to be very good friends with CM Punk, as evidenced by the Brawl Out interview, in which CM Punk, when he laced into all of the people that were on his vendetta list, Tony Khan looked like he wanted to crawl into a little ball and disappear. If I had a Pokeball to throw at him and I choose you to disappear, that's exactly what would have happened.
In comes Tony's exact reaction done by the Phenomenal One.
Yes. And you got to remember, you got to get the shrinking part where you have to. Yes. Because he shrunk. And I think a lot of people, between that and the big swole stuff, and the women stuff going on in the locker room.
The Rosa stuff. The
Thunder Rosa stuff. Exactly. The fact that they had to deal with Brody Lee's passing, and then Cody leaving the company, and all of the stuff that happened with the Elite, maybe them leaving and then them re-signing. All of these things.
Here's what sucks. Because we see all of this unfold, right?
Yes.
And I know you watched the Cody documentary, because I did as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Cody said this, and I won't forget it. He was like, guys, you don't even have to edit this out. Truth be told, I want this in. I didn't leave AEW because I wanted control. I left because of a personal issue.
Exactly.
And he tries to tie it into like wanting to win the world title. And it's just like, Cody, it's hokey. Because we're right now in the time of where Tony's just letting everyone run free. And he's not really doing anything that subsidizes with having structure in a pro wrestling company where people know their places. This isn't I think the reason behind Cody leaving is because Cody wanted AEW to have that corporate NWA Jim Crockett feel.
Yeah.
Where there was structure, there was elegance to it, there were people that wanted to be there. There was no such thing as politics. Everybody
and there was
got
a definite sports presentation that shifted when he left. The importance on records, the importance on championships, the importance on the tie-in to all of that was important. And that shifted once he left. So
what does that tell you? What does that tell you, peeps?
That tells you that the structure is completely an issue. And I don't think that you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. Exactly. I don't think he wants to name personal names. He doesn't want to name names. He doesn't want to name names. And that's perfectly fine. If we never know anything from Cody about that aspect of it, okay, nothing wrong with that. Cool. That's his choice. At the same time, you can infer from what we've seen what the consternation is that happened between the Elite, maybe Punk, maybe it's not. Punk might not have anything to do with that particular aspect of Cody being gone, or the aspect of the fact that the structure that we have come to know with the WWE, without question, you can talk about all of the garbage that we've seen in WWE in the last, since we've been doing this show, in the two and change years that I've been co-hosting the show with you. We can infer on just that aspect of, oh, look at the hokey stuff that's been going on, and this happened, and then this what happened, and then we had zombies, and we had a wrestler lose an eyeball, and then we had soda matches, and all. We can go on and on about that stuff. But the one thing that we can always say is that the WWE, the buck stopped with Vince McMahon. Vince, even though the WWE has not officially been sold yet, the structure is there, but the sale isn't official. The buck stopped, ended, the sun rose and then went down, and then the moon came up and went back down under the auspices of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And if you had any problem with that, he would cast no aspersions to kicking you right out of the building. And that's the way the structure was. That's even true. Though he may have other executives, he's got Kevin Dunn as his right-hand man, and Triple H is there. And then you had all of these other people that were there and layered, and Bruce Pritchard, et cetera, et cetera. It was Vince McMahon, then the structure, the ladder that was there. And then if you didn't like it, you could kick rocks. AEW seems to be a much more loose, freer concept of corporate structure, in the sense that the wrestlers have a little more control over creative, which can be a nightmare if you start giving the talent too much creative control. But we also see that that creative control can go to the heads of other people that are in positions where they may influence booking. We may influence what happens stylistically with in-match determining factors of how's this going to be booked, and how long is this match going to be, and where is it going to be presented? What part of the card is it? Who's booking it? Who's going to be the participants? What's the end result? What's the long-term ranging aspect of this match is going to go here, this feud is going to go there? That all is supposed to start and stop at Tony Khan. And Tony Khan right now is running not just AEW. He's running Ring of Honor. He's running 2 separate wrestling promotions, all under the AEW banner. But he has inherited now. When I say inherited, he purchased Ring of Honor. And to have that structure there, having all of the nonsense that's been going on from the reports that we've heard with CM Punk and all of the other things that have been going on with the Elite, it's not good. And then to have on top of that, the Cash Wheeler instance that happened, on top of the fact that they're going to London, England, and going to have a pay-per-view for literally the biggest show in the history of this company, knowing that they were on the cusp of getting that long-term contract with Warner Brothers Discovery. You got to tread lightly and make sure that if this does not get cleared up, all of this stuff, Warner Brothers Discovery can just, say, look, you know what? We don't need the headache. Go to another company and let them deal with the contracts and the promotion. We know Warner Brothers Discovery is very happy with AEW, with the revenue that they're bringing in, the merchandising. They've gotten multiple hours of programming on television, extra pay-per-views. They've gotten eyeballs to the networks, but they don't need the drama. That's something that has to get cleared up. We may not know all of it, but the drama has to clear up, or else they're going to be in a world of hurt.
Well, peeps, all we can do is just watch the world burn, right?
Exactly.
So let's just allow it to happen. Let's see what does happen. Let's see how long it takes before they notice the scat that they're in and they try to get out of it. But
so you're basically you're equating Tony Khan to Nero, playing the fiddle, playing the harp while Rome burns around him.
Yep.
Yes.
Definitely. Somebody get me a harpsichord, something that I can use around, like, honestly, like just something, some type of instrument. You know what?
Yes.
And while it burns, I will sit there and play funeral march by the Undertaker, right on it. Just dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
Let me stop. Okay.
Yes.
Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end of the first half of Saturday afternoon's main event. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and get straight into our questions. And from there, we're going to go ahead and have our last topic of today's show. So stay tuned. Do not go anywhere, because the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event is coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event. Of course, it is the phenomenal one here alongside Peeps Nate. Let's go ahead and just get into our questions because we still have that one topic to go. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. First one comes from Master Sean 007. He says, "Greetings, gentlemen. This is a follow-up to my questions from the previous show concerning AEW's women division. Should Tony Khan go to Ring of Honor route and create a separate show for either YouTube or a weekly pay-per-view basis? Can even call it AWW, All Women's Wrestling. Imagine a match being so good that the fans chant, "Aw, LOL." Is something like this a good idea?"
That was a good one. Oh, that was a good one. Okay. He gets 2 points for that one. Yes. He gets 2 points for that one. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Peeps, you want to go first on this one, or
I'll take this one. that was a good one. Okay. The issue with the AEW women's division is that it's not given the proper focus or the attention that it deserves. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and how that we see the fact that they do have talent there. Willow Nightingale is somebody that I enjoy watching wrestle. Saraya, who is trying to kind of get her sea legs for the last year, she's had a couple of good matches, and then she's had a couple of matches where she's kind of been in the background. She's not in the front, more in the background. Ruby Riott, she's kind of there, but still there's something missing from her repertoire in some of her matches. They have Doc Britt Baker, they have Sky Blue, they have a lot of good talent, either young, up and coming. They have some people that are there. But for my money, and I'll say this until the cows come home, the single best women's wrestler in that company, Ring of Honor or otherwise, is Athena. And as far as I'm concerned, they need to get Athena off of the Ring of Honor show and put her on AEW television and let her get a run with either the TBS championship or potentially go after the Women's World Championship. Because as far as I'm concerned, she is one of the best talents there. She was one of the best talents when she was in NXT, and I used to mark out about her all the time when she was in NXT. And knowing that when they put her on the main roster in the WWE, Vince, just as was explained, but remembering the shoot interview that she did, I believe with Chris Van Vliet, and she had gotten teary-eyed about it, was that Vince just didn't understand her. There was really nothing for her to be used because he didn't know what to do with her. It's understandable. She's now gone from the company, came to AEW, signed mostly on Ring of Honor. But right now, she has a personality, she has a look that fits the AEW main roster. And as evidence, she's very violent. That part I actually like about her as far as her presentation goes. And if they bring her on the AEW television side of it, they can do some things. It's just a matter of how, who prioritizes it, and then the rest of the roster. And that's part of the problem. There seems to be more attention, obviously, to the men and a handful of the women on the roster. Everybody else needs to start getting some kind of attention, some sort of important storyline, something that gets them noticed. We're not seeing that in the women's division in AEW. And for all of the stuff that we've talked about in the WWE as far as their women's division, which is another complete mess in and of itself in certain aspects. In certain aspects, the WWE women's division is great. They've got a huge amount of talent. But they don't prioritize the women's division in the WWE as well for different reasons. AEW needs to get that taken care of and get these women the notoriety and the attention that they deserve, because they have a talented group of women wrestlers that should be up there and getting that attention so that they can be showcased better, so that they can improve If you continue to say that the women's roster sucks, how do you get them not to suck? By improving, by getting them more TV time, by getting them longer matches, by getting them matches in general, putting them in better storylines, making sure that they're important. And that's what they're not doing in AEW right now. So that's where they have to go. And I think if they get that taken care of, then you can start talking about, well, let's see where we can go, to the extent that they had gotten close to what the Knockouts division in TNA Impact was 10 years ago, where they almost had their own show. But the Knockouts division is still good in Impact Wrestling. So aspire to be that, and then go from there.
You're definitely right. Peeps, you left no crumbs. You ate on that one. I have to give you that. Listen, I agree with you 100% on this. Like, Master Sean 007, I hope Peeps even got like the right level of competency to go ahead and tell you what he told you, because it's true. Honestly, everything from head to toe, it's constantly right. From us, it's just like he just doesn't. Khan just doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it. But until then, let's just hope he does.
Well, if all of the women's last name was Punk, maybe there might be something. But that's not the case.
Peeps,
but
imagine the women's division begins to get booked if someone by the name of April Mendez joined the AEW women's roster.
Ooh.
You know,
now you're playing with my emotions now.
You would get for that. Like, honestly, truth be told, you know what? I digress. Let me not. Well,
that's 4 right there. So there we go. We're already at 104. We got to 100 2 weeks ago. We're at 104 already.
Oh, great.
There we go.
It's only August. Oh, I love this. But from there, let's go ahead and get into the next question from Doctor of Thugonomics. He says, day 1096. I have some compassion for Roderick. Hopefully things work out for him. Psych. Adam Cole for the win next week.
This sounds like a breakup, you know? Well, I had some compassion for Roderick, but you know what?
Screw him.
I got a new taste sensation, and it's Adam Cole, baby.
For God's sakes. But Peeps, what are your thoughts about the whole thing? I mean, honestly, leading up to this match, I can't wait. I'm thinking about going to my local Dave & Buster's just to sit there and watch the show on that Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. because I'm really looking forward to the show, and most definitely the main event. But Peeps, the whole thing going on with, Adam and Roderick and MJF and, Bennett and all of it. Peeps, what are your thoughts, man? Just what are your thoughts?
It is absolutely hilarious. First and foremost, the pairing could not be any different as far as Adam Cole becoming a face after the long layoff because of the concussion issues and injuries that he had, and MJF just being MJF, and having a complete flip of Adam Cole showing that he may turn heel, but he's trying to stay face by reeling in MJF, but MJF is the devil, all right? He's made no bones about the fact that he is the devil. And walking around as a tag team, and then the vignettes that they've been doing, although they can sometimes be cringy, by the end of the vignette, you are looking at it like, I can't believe I enjoyed that. Every new vignette that they do, I was like, oh, good grief. What are they doing?
You know what? Put it better this way. I know MJF is the devil.
Yes.
Nobody's on the level of the devil. We know that.
No.
He's better than us, and we know it. Okay, but here's the thing. He is no longer the devil to me. Okay? At all. You know who he is, Peeps? He's our scumbag. All right? He is our scumbag. Put it that way.
Yes.
Leave it like that. You know what? Let's put it like this, Peeps. I love where they're going with this, and I'm still adamant on the fact. Look, Doctor of Thugonomics, don't hate on me. Don't leave us as a fan of the show because of what I'm about to say. But I don't think Adam Cole's winning next week. Okay, I just think, Peeps. Imagine if they continue to carry MJF as some sort of face, and they have Roderick go ahead and interfere in the match. cost them the match. MJF takes his first L, but not by pinfall or submission, and he doesn't end up losing the title. You can have that being built up into some type of storyline, but at the end of the day, you can also have MJF sit there and want to beat the holy hell out of Roderick.
Yes.
At the end of the day, peeps, for me, I love where they're going with it, but DOT, look, I just, nope, not happening, okay?
Yeah.
Look, Adam Cole in another realm. As much as I love Adam Cole as well, listen, not today, bud. Just not today.
I'm telling you though, this is one of the most compelling deals out there. And MJF, since MJF has been champion since what, November? Talking November 19th when he won it. This has been the most compelling storyline that he's been in since the CM Punk stuff. I find this highly entertaining.
Not wrong. And so, honestly, everything just from head to toe is just amazing with what they're doing. I love it.
Yes.
I really do love it. Well, DOT, look, we appreciate the comment, man. Hopefully, day 1,000 and what was this going to be?
1,096, huh?
So day 1,103
yeah.
should be, not too bad for you next week. Although that's going to be the last day that we see a smile on your face, and then you're going to go.
Although we might be, who knows? We might be surprised. I don't think it's going to happen. But
definitely.
By next week when we do like predictions and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun show.
Definitely. You're not even wrong on that. But from there, last but not least, the last question for today goes to the one and only Hot Roost 316. He says, if Fox WWE deals fall apart, where should SmackDown move to? NBC or USA or Peacock or a different network in total? Bigger question, should it be 3 hours as well? I'll take the cake on this one.
You got this one.
Why not go to NBC? NBC is where it's at. Listen, I'm all for NBC. And with that, it's just like, you sit there and wonder, Saturday afternoon's main event, WWE tribute to the troops. It's not like they haven't been on a network before. So why not now? It's a good time for now. Honestly, and at the end of the day, doesn't NBC carry WWE's library through Peacock? So why not? But there is that other outlier that by September, when the deal falls through for WWE and UFC to merge, why not it go to the same parent company that is currently being used to broadcast all UFC events, ESPN? But instead for going to ESPN, why don't go ahead and take a smack to the face of Fox and go on their local but non-broadcasting, non-cable television station, ABC? Honestly, look, my top two are either ABC or NBC. If it falls through the roof with Fox, screw it, go to one of them. But when it comes to having it be 3 hours, that's where you lost me. We already go through Raw itself. As much as Raw has sometimes been entertaining for the past couple of weeks, past year to be exact, some weeks it's been entertaining to actually sit through the full 3 hours. Sometimes it hasn't.
Yeah.
So SmackDown is much more of like that good A show for the past couple of years, especially with Roman being on it and most of the Bloodline stuff. We have LA Knight, constantly on the show now. They're a US champion. Some things help. Of course, he's no longer US champion. Have it in the hands of Rey Mysterio, which I think is going to go ahead and fold to Santos and, a new heel LWO faction. That's what I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. But little by little, you get to feel the feeling that SmackDown is evolving and it's getting better. But we know that the Bloodline story is currently going to be lacking with the current stuff that we're about to go ahead and get into in the next topic. But it's just like, Why? You know, like, why go ahead and go 3 hours? 2 hours have been fine for the longest time. If it's not broke, don't fix it. 2 hours sticks fine to me. Peeps, what are your thoughts about this whole question?
If I'm going to go where it is, what I think is going to happen, I don't think anything's going to change. I don't think they're leaving USA. They'll take, I think, a little less money, but they'll get the long-term security that they're looking for. So, like another 5-year deal, I can see. I don't think that's happening. I don't think they're leaving Fox. I don't think it's changing. SmackDown, even though Fox claims that they're losing money on the deal, let's really be honest. What else is Fox going to put on Fridays at 8:00 Eastern? That's going to get them exactly. Well, you're going to show repeats of Swamp People or swimming, The Masked Singer. I mean, come on. People, wrestling fans, especially in the United States, viewing habits don't change that much. When you as a network change the viewing habits of your viewers never come back. Unless the show is sustainable enough where they will go where you send them. You can take a good show and it's been on television, let's say 10 years. And then all of a sudden, watch XYZ show, which has been on 10 years, moving to a new night. And usually that happens because they want that show to lead in to a new night of programming. And that usually helps. But then a lot of times when people have been used to that show being on television in a certain day, certain time slot for 8, 9, 10, 12, 20 years, in some instances, and then you tell them, we're moving, because remember, SmackDown wasn't always on Fridays. SmackDown was on Thursdays at one point. And they took the audience from where they were on Fridays, moved them to Thursdays. But they stayed there. And the ratings were good. And then it's like, we're moving back to Fridays, but we're moving it to another network because the product was strong enough that the fans went. If you do that, you're going to have a lot of people upset. But Fox, I think they're smart enough to know that SmackDown is going to bring them ratings that they can count on so that advertisers can then make up enough money on the back end of the deal to come out at least to break even. And then use that to then get other shows on other nights. Because let's really be honest, that 2-hour block on Fox on Saturdays, that's the entire block. What other programming are they going to put in that block that's going to take over for wrestling on a Friday night?
And is actually going to pull in 1 to 2 million people
exactly
on a weekly basis.
Outside of another sport, say of college football, college basketball, maybe baseball, the playoffs, whatever it is, outside of sports, wrestling is going to go ahead and take that and keep it that way. It's the same reason why The Simpsons has been on. The Simpsons initially started on Thursday. It started on Sundays. They moved it to Thursdays way back in the 80s. And then they moved it from Thursdays after X amount of years to Sundays. And it has been on Sundays now since. And how long has The Simpsons been on television? Almost 35 years. Yep. So that should tell you something. The viewing, if you want to tell somebody that The Simpsons is moving from its Sunday slot to, say, Thursdays, the show would die on the vine. No matter how good the Simpsons as a brand is, you just changed the viewing habits of the fans. That's something that you're not going to change. So Fox is going to get back on board. They're going to come up with something. WWE is going to maybe lose a little bit of money, say they won't make as much money as they would have said with the last negotiating period. They'll do well. They'll make more money on the back end like they've been doing. And
you know what?
Avenues will be happy.
Who needs Fox money when they got merch money courtesy of the megastar whose name is L.A. Knight? Yeah. There we go.
There you go.
Hopefully, Hot Rod, we hope we answered your questions to the best of our abilities. That marks the end of our questions, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, if you want to send in a question, we love answering these. All you have to do is send it to us and DM us at Saturday afternoons _main event on Instagram. Send in a question. It will be featured on the next episode of the show. From there, moving to our last topic for today's show.
Oh, I got the pen ready. So here it is. Got the pen ready.
So, all right. Peeps, we haven't been on air for 2 weeks. SummerSlam happened.
Yes.
First and foremost, I have to say, the show was great. Finn Balor taking an L was not expected. That was the only thing I think I failed at.
Best.
That was the only match I think I went ahead and failed at. Everything else,
I've got it right now. You had Finn. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's the only one. We both got that one wrong. I got the Ricochet match wrong because you had Logan Paul. I had Ricochet coming out on top based on the fact that I said he needed that win based on who it was against. Mm-hmm. But everything else, even the EO, yes, right? Yes. I got the fact that Bianca was going to win, but then you said Asuka was going to win, and then EO was going to come out and cash in. So,
well, we had it, and then I said that Jay was going to lose courtesy of Jimmy. That happened as well. Mm-hmm. Fast forward to that. Okay, yeah. Then last week SmackDown happened. We were ready to go ahead and go crazy on that because we had the "what did he say" moment. With Jay going ahead and saying, "I'm out of the bloodline. I'm out of SmackDown. I'm out of WWE." Deuces, exits through the crowd, has the people guessing. Well, good, cool. That was the same week that we also had Edge go ahead and announce that he was going to have his match with Sheamus.
Yes.
Fast forward to this week, peeps. All right, let's just be for real. We're just gonna name this SmackDown in Toronto. We've covered, we've kind of skimmed through what happened, last week's SmackDown. This week's SmackDown was good. Yeah, somewhat interesting with what they planned out and what they mapped out, especially with probably Sasha being written off TV. Not Sasha, Bianca. See, I'm tripping. Can we just get Sasha Banks back or Mercedes Moné, whatever her name is? Can we get her back?
Mercedes Moné, there you go.
For God's sakes, get her back, please. I miss her. Jeez. Anywho, LA Knight being on the show, getting costed a number one contenders match by The Miz. Trouble in Paradise spelling for Santos and Ray. Paul Heyman saying that, inside source, Jimmy Uso is going to be on next week's SmackDown. I think we know who the inside source is. Me and Peeps both had a right understanding of who it was.
It's Dave Meltzer. You know that. It's Dave Meltzer. Guys. It's Meltzer. It's a 9-star review. Oh, no, not him.
You mean a 9-star spoiler?
Yes.
But guys, truth be told, if we're being for real, we think our inside scoop is that it is the one person who would actually sit there and say, "I did it for The Rock." If you get that reference, God bless your soul. If you don't, Jesus Christ, go back to wrestling school. Guys, it's Rikishi. We're just saying now, okay? Just saying
yes.
No. Just saying no.
Papa Oos.
Papa Oos. There we go. There you go. Perfectly fine. But beyond all that, that wasn't the talk of last night.
Ironically, think about that. Ironically, just think of that statement.
For the first time.
That was not even the biggest part of SmackDown. That was kind of like the seedy underbelly. That was in the periphery.
That's what I'm saying, peeps. Now, here's the thing. Here's what was mostly talked about, guys. And I'm just going to go ahead and show the picture. Because I begin to talk about it, I think I might go ahead and shed a couple of tears. I don't know. That's just me. But they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. That right there, that settles it. And here's why. I went ahead and I went on Saturday afternoon's main event just this past morning, yesterday morning, and I had wrote something out in a post. And what I said was this, and I quote, "Who is the enigma that is Adam Copeland? Most people with a comedic sense will say that he's Sexton Hardcastle. Others around my age group, and mostly all current wrestling fans, will refer to him as the rated R superstar. I just simply refer to him as Edge. The SOB who ruined my childhood by using his Money in the Bank briefcase on two of my favorites, The Undertaker and John Cena. I believe I speak for a lot of the younger wrestling fans that were in their adolescence when the Ruthless Aggression era came around when I say we hated Edge. I myself didn't come around to liking him till after he bashed the hell out of Alberto Del Rio's Rolls Royce after defeating him at WrestleMania 27. And unfortunately, that was short-lived because just right after that, I had to sit through Raw and watch Edge emotionally retire. Fast forward to the Royal Rumble 2020 on a night in which the world was spinning upside down merely hours after the death of Kobe Bryant made devastating headlines. I was welcomed with the Royal Rumble match, and when You Think You Know Me echoed through my house, tears were shed. With 2020 marking the return of Edge, I told myself that I have to see him live. I saw him face Seth Rollins in what was their second storyline match, which took place at MSG. Their second and third time came at WrestleMania this year versus Finn Balor inside Hell in a Cell and Grayson Waller just this past July, once again at MSG. It has now been 25 years since Edge made his WWE debut, and there are now reports coming out that tonight was... Damn, this is hard. His last match with Sheamus on his WWE contract, and it just seems like when the clock strikes midnight, this chapter comes to a complete close. I, for one, don't want this to happen, but if it does, I have just something to say to Edge. Yes, I do know you. In my mind, you are one of the greatest to ever do it. You made me feel, whether it was from your arrogant, cocky attitude during my young years or the heartfelt promos most recently taking place during this run. If this is the end, thank you for it all, but if not, just know your flowers have been given for a long time, and we as wrestling fans will continue to give you your flowers on this day. Fast forward to that match. Thank you, peeps. Thank you. As much as it hurt having to sit there and actually type it, I kid you not. Because, you know, as much as I was young and I didn't know what was fully happening when Edge retired, now, you know, coming back in 2020, you would sit there and say, Edge being back, this is a fever dream. And that's what it's felt like, you know? And being able to witness Edge towards this part of my life where I begin to love wrestling more and more as the days go by, and being able to say that I was there for presumably one of Edge's last matches is insane. It's insane because I would have never thought, you know? But then watching that match, watching the whole show, seeing the promo packages, getting to the match itself, God's sakes, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to possibly put it, but it's just like, wow, you know, 25 years. Dang, that's insane. But then there's that other part to me that sat there and said, I don't think it's the end. And I sat there and I called peeps right after the show was over because I was just like, oh, he's just going to hug Sheamus? That's the cliffhanger that you're leaving me on? For God's sakes, 25 years of Edge giving his body, his soul, his life literally in the ring, and you're telling me the way that you end SmackDown is just by him hugging Sheamus? No boots in the ring? No signal that's signifying that it is truly over? Okay, so it's not over. That's what it was. That's what it said to me. And you know what? Call Peeps. Peeps was like, yo, listen, I think this is going to be addressed after watch. Just some fan is just going to sit there, record it, pull out his phone and record it, and it's going to be on social media by the next morning. The fact that Peeps said that, and not even 10 seconds later, I pop on Twitter, and literally the video is right there, where Edge says, this is my last time in front of you guys, Toronto. I don't think I will be able to make another year round to this moment again. And it led me to think, okay, it's his last time in Toronto, in front of the Toronto crowd, his hometown. WWE isn't slated to be in Toronto until presumably probably after WrestleMania next year. So, which begins to lead me to think, Edge's days are numbered, truth be told, with his career winding down. But I do feel that he's going to resign. but it's only going to be up until WrestleMania. I feel that WrestleMania is his last match. But who should it be against? That is the question. To be or not to be? I'm pulling my Shakespeare stance right now. But
Yes.
who should it be? I sat there and I told peeps there's 3 people in my mind that I think should go ahead and hold that last match standard. One is Grayson Waller. With the effect of that, Grayson was the one that kind of approached with retirement to the WWE universe when it came to Edge. Let's be for real here.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't talking about Edge's retirement for a fat minute up until that SmackDown at MSG, literally on the Grayson Waller show, and Edge is just like, "Oh, I'm not retiring." He literally vividly said that. So why get the feeling that this is the end? No. So it could be Grayson Waller. Give the rub to him, go out on your back, doing the honors presumably. But then there's that other side to me that said, you know what? Edge's contract just ended last night. What if he does resign for less than a year? And at the moment that he resigns without that clause in his contract that says that he can't win a world title. Peeps, have him walk into WrestleMania in Philly with the world title. And have him lose the world title at that event to either one of these 2 individuals that made his career feel just that much better. One of the places that I'm going with this is the person that kind of brought back this version of Edge merely right after the Royal Rumble. Randy Orton. They're saying that there's reports that Randy would be coming back by the Royal Rumble. That, you know, if he does come back, where is he placed at? We do know that there's a chance that Randy's going to be on SmackDown. So why not? We know that WWE really doesn't obey the draft rules that, if you're on this specific brand, you can't. Because look at LA Knight, for God's sakes. Look at The Miz. That's all I'm going to say. So who cares?
Look at AJ Styles.
Exactly.
AJ was in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament. A SmackDown wrestler wrestling for a championship on Raw. That's all you need to know.
What does that tell you? Exactly. So Randy, look, it could be Randy. I'm fine if it is Randy. That fits the mold. But then there's that other person. Guys, as much as we know that the clock is winding down for a lot of different things, one of the things that I would have to say is, if I can see in the modern era Edge go up against John Cena one last time, I'm paying all my hard-earned money to see that. Honestly. And with a title on the line, it makes it... Peeps, just imagine. Edge not wanting to retire. Not wanting to give up losing the World Heavyweight title. Then you have Cena coming back around just to face Edge. But not only just try to face Edge. Have him go ahead and win his 17th world title. Then passing the Nature Boy Ric Flair, which I know, see, that sets it in stone that that's Cena as a heel, because I can see peeps already in his head. What? Pass the Nature Boy? Pass my idol? Are you insane? What the heck is wrong with you? That's what peeps is thinking right now. I can just feel it. But that's what I want. That's what I would presume. Then there is the other casual wrestling fan. AEW marks. That will sit and wonder, well, what if he's going to AEW? And honestly, look, there was some type of little part of me that sat there and said, maybe it does happen. And I even told it to peeps. I said, peeps, as much as I hate to say this, I don't want to say this. I don't want this to be the case. But I don't want to see this happen. But what if it does? He both sat there and said, you know what? We doubt it. But then there's the other ones that are adamant and are saying, "Oh, what's gonna happen? Oh yeah, Sexton Edge. I see it already." Some people said, "You know what? Screw it. Sexton Cage and
Oh,
Christian
good
Cage."
grief.
The things that I heard, peeps. I mean, for God's sakes. Then I heard the Metalingus brothers, and that's when I said, "You know what? All of you people are on crack. I'm not falling for that. No,
Yeah.
no way." But peeps, for you, in your thoughts about this whole thing, what do we see for Edge? Is this the end? Fully done for? When is the next time that we see him? Or was that truly the final curtain call last night?
I think if you frame it in this aspect of him saying, this is the last time, because I actually got a chance to see his speech this morning, early this morning. I was able to watch it on YouTube. And it seemed like that yesterday was the last time he would ever wrestle in Toronto. The fireworks, the pyrotechnics, the hug with Sheamus, and even forgetting about all of the extra stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The match that he had with Sheamus, it felt like a WrestleMania match. It literally felt, I remember telling that to you. It was like, it felt like a pay-per-view, an undercard pay-per-view match from
No lies
WrestleMania.
told. No lies told.
And I remember I said that it gave me Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair vibes. That's what I felt watching that match. Can Edge give another match like that to somebody else at, say, WrestleMania? I think he can. Because if he would have to, first of all, it would have to be the emotional load of saying, I'm going to have that kind of match, and we're going to do it in this sense. You figure between now and WrestleMania, we're looking at 34 weeks between now and WrestleMania. So, of course, you're going to say, okay, that makes sense. Let's see what we do here. And you build up the fact that Edge is gone. If, as far as I'm concerned, even though I understand the Cena aspect, I think the Grayson Waller part is probably the best thing. Now, between now and WrestleMania, they might end up saying, well, Edge is going to have his final matches, have a tag match with his wife against, not to say The Miz and his wife, but somebody else. Yeah,
Peeps. You're going to hate me for this one.
Oh, boy.
Artem and Nikki Bella. Let me not. I'll shut up. I digress.
Go in the corner. Go in the corner.
I'm in timeout.
You're in timeout right now. But right now, I think what we look at, and I think the reason why the Grayson Waller part works better than all of the others, obviously Cena, for the reasons that we've specified, is John Cena. Cena has not, quote unquote, officially retired yet, but we all know his good years are pretty much behind him. He's the ambassador of WWE that's not named NOI at the end, So I think that if you're going to look at it in this sense, if you're going to have a retirement, a true final retirement, usually, as we said before, you're going to have somebody that's going to do, as Vince McMahon coined it, the time-honored tradition. If he's going to do that, he's going to put someone over on the way out. If Grayson Waller is all that the company is looking at as the next arrogant a-hole heel that they're going to have, it works. And he's going to need to have to prove something. He needs to have that kind of push, that kind of win. Now, if it wasn't for the fact that WWE has absolutely destroyed anything that Austin Theory could be, then they could have used him as the guy to get that match over with Edge. Yeah. To get him, like, you know what? We're going to finally push Austin Theory to that next level where he's going to be that heel, he's going to be that guy. That's not the case because that U.S. title reign that he's had has been abysmal in how they've booked him and how they've shown him, showcased him, and how he's not really grown. And the way he lost that championship to Rey Mysterio kind of further exacerbates that mindset that anything that he tries to do is not going to really go all that well. So if you're looking for the guy that's going to quote unquote retire Edge, Grayson Waller works because the best stories, as you've heard me say before, are the ones that they do in acts. And the notion that Grayson Waller started this by talking about retiring. Oh, you're going to retire, and that's what you're going to be, and you're lazy, and you can't. That's what you're going to do with him. If that's the case, oi, 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 you know? If that's the case, it makes sense.
Of course.
You put Waller in, you give him his first WrestleMania moment, and you do it in front of all of the Philly fans. And you want to piss the Philly fans off? Have Edge lose his last match in the middle of the ring against one of the most arrogant heels out there.
Peeps, now here's one thing. What if? See, Peeps, I'm so sorry because Taekwondo just said this. I apologize to all the Australian viewers. Peeps is insensitive. Yeah, Taekwondo, I love you, bro.
Yes.
Honestly. But let's say there's a callback, right? To WrestleMania 22.
Okay.
Let's say Edge goes out in a hardcore match. Remember the rite of passage for Randy that kind of started his upbringing and, you know, his career?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Face Mick Foley, they said. Go into the thumbtacks, they said. From there, you got the you got the rite of passage. You got the A-OK from Mick. Edge, although Edge was already on his way to stardom, he was already winning championships, and he already had won the world championship by that time. And this was just a match that was kind of like, okay, let's see where he goes with this. Let's see how good he does. Let's see how he matches up with Mick. Matched up with Mick perfectly well. Went into the thumbtacks. Ended up beating Mick. Goes on to main event WrestleMania not even 2 years later. Now, Peeps, if Grayson Waller is the guy that we're looking at, don't you just think that the rite of passage should be a hardcore match, being that it is in Philadelphia?
See, that's where I was going to go. That's exactly why Grayson Waller works.
I don't mind it being Grayson Waller. I really don't. If that's what the final curtain call is going to be, I'm all for it. Because I really want to see Grayson Waller go ahead and take. I want to see it from the moment that he ruined Gargano's goodbye farewell in NXT. Yes. I think we all wanted to see Grayson Waller become something even greater than that. So now at this current case in point, let's plant the seeds and let's just see this whole thing grow. But when it comes to Edge, yeah, he kind of had me there. Yeah, I think he had us all, Peeps, because we were all sitting here like, oh God, it's over. It's over. Just like that, you know?
Yeah.
Listen, guys, I don't think it's over. There's at least 8 months left. Just at least 8. Give it time. And when it's all said and done, we will be basking in joy, knowing that this is how it happened.
We're going to see over the next few weeks bits and pieces of this 25 years of Edge and excellence of Edge, or whatever they've coined it. You're going to see that speech on SmackDown next week. Oh, they're going to show bits and pieces of it. They're going to refer to it. They'll probably interview Edge in the locker room. They'll probably interview Beth Phoenix and interview his 2 kids. They might even interview their dog. We don't know what they'll do. But in any event, they're going to use this and give you kind of like the road work to give you that idea that the groundwork is there. We've already paving it for that long term, kind of give them the walk-off that he deserves. You know, when you usually see an athlete retire, they give him, oh, this is Derek Jeter's final year. So he's going to go all the ballparks and he's going to get celebrated and he's going to get the rocking chair. He's going to get the baseball bat. He's going to get the picture. He's going to get the ticket stub. They're going to give him his flowers on his way out the door. And I kind of think that that's what they're going to do with Edge. And it makes sense. If you're going to do something like that, Grayson Waller makes perfect sense. If they do decide to say, you know what, let this be a hardcore match and let Grayson Waller be the Australian MJF that we know he can be and drum up so much hatred and just vitriol and all of the things that he can do to literally infuriate everyone. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to get in the ring with Edge and I'm going to beat him at his own game, blah, 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 blah. And then he goes out there and he says he's going to beat him at his own game. And he does it. That will get Edge over in the sense that we know this is his last match, but we also know that this will get Waller over in the fact that this will be his first WrestleMania moment. Because I see dollar signs all over Grayson Waller.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. Between the Grayson Waller Effect talk show, talk about something that drives you insane as far as his character goes. He is
me off.
Perfect heel.
Oh, he pisses me off. Heel. Bob Backlund chicken crap faced heel. I kid you not. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, I hate the man.
Yes.
I like Dominic more than I like Grayson Waller. That should tell you.
That's saying a lot.
That is saying a lot. Okay.
Yes.
So, honestly, look, I'm all for it. We have 8 months till we can at least see that moment happen.
Yes.
So as I said, let's just plant the seeds. And furthermore, we'll see where it goes.
Yes.
All right.
I'll just plant the seeds right there. And then I'll just pour a little bit of water on it. And then, well, not here, but yeah.
Yeah, not in Florida. Yeah. It's raining like crazy out here. We need someplace with sun. Yeah. Let it grow. Hopefully not in the backyard of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. We know that is full darkness.
But very, very cold.
Yes, definitely. No wonder why he named the Undertaker the Undertaker. Yeah, he probably had the man hiding in his basement, for God's sakes. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, that marks the end of today's episode of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Of course, we thank you guys for going ahead and tuning in and sitting down with us and enjoying the show. We hope you guys most definitely did enjoy the show. From that, we will go ahead and leave you guys. We'll see you next week because we have our AEW All-In predictions to give, which will be taking place the day after episode 7. But it's okay because this week, I hope there's not much to happen. God, please, God, don't allow Tony Khan to pull another one of my horns.
And then remember, there's a pay-per-view right after that the following week. That is insane. We got no WWE before, but doing pay-per-views in the same month. But they're doing All In, and then Chicago the following week is All Out. That's $100 right there.
Peeps. And don't forget. Payback right after Peeps.
Who would have thought that Payback would be the pay-per-view on sale? $9.99. That's the one that has the best value if you're looking at it in the sense of money.
Peeps, not even. Actually, $4.99. If you're not going to get Peacock with ads, you get to watch it for $4.99. Okay?
Yeah, before they raise the prices up.
Oh God. Yeah. But guys, it's okay. We'll keep in touch. We'll see how this week pans out in the world of pro wrestling. Hopefully they don't give us a lot of, I would say maybe a lot of ideas for our reels this time of week. Although they know we're going to go ahead and try to make a lot out of it. But it's okay. Because from there, guys, on this episode of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event, I the Phenomenal One.
And I the Peep Snitch, where we came,
we saw,
and in the words of the wise man Paul Heyman, we conquered.
We conquered. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, see you next week for episode 7. It is the Phenomenal One. It is the Peep Snitch. It's season 6, episode 6 of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Peace, love, farewell.